The shared album pushed a photo I was in. He forgot to turn on private. Hook. The photo arrived on the kitchen tablet at 7:03 p.m., blooming into our evening like a confident lie. Our frame pulls from a shared album. Vacations, birthdays, the kind of ordinary light you only respect once you lose it. The picture showed my husband in a hotel robe I didn't recognize, wrist bones flashing like punctuation, steam behind him, a glass wall pretending to make privacy modern. A second robe sleeve entered the frame from the right, hand holding a flute of something cold. The caption, courtesy of the algorithm, read, "A moment to remember." My name is Parker. I'm 35. I write copy that sells patience disguised as features. My husband is Leo. He designs kitchens for restaurants that want their ambitions plated. 4 years married, we are devout about competence and sloppy with heat. Coffee where a hand will find it. The good glasses used even for water because ceremony should pull its weight. Kisses hung on the doorframe like receipts we don't audit. We rarely break. That can be its own cowardice. Where? That? I asked, keeping my voice level the way you do when you found a nail in your tire and still need to drive home. He turned from the stove, tongs lifted like a defense that knew it wasn't credible. The steam on the tablet gave the photo a tenderness it didn't deserve. His mouth did the wreckage I've always trusted him for. No rehearsal, just the truth's opening chord. "I was going to tell you," he said. "The line betrayers prefer because sometimes it's honest about intention if not timing." "Tell me now," I said, "before the frame rotates to the next evidence." "It's a hotel downtown," he said. "Saturday, after the tasting. We took a shower because the kitchen made us smell like garlic and money." I repeated, not requesting clarification so much as forcing the noun to audition. "Adrian," he said. The name landed on the counter between the salt and the truth. The tablet, loyal to the clock and not to us, slipped the photo to a picture of a dog at a lake from last summer, the kind of decency that almost felt cruel. I stepped over and tapped back. There he was again, my husband with a robe open to clavicle and a mouth confident about how to be bitten. The hand with the flute existed, sleeve rolled the degree statutes should consider, the face just out of frame did not. "Did you give him access to the album?" I asked. "No," he said. "He airdropped and my phone is reckless. I forgot to toggle private." He set the tongs down and looked at me like a man memorizing the inside of a room he might be exiled from. "Do you want me to leave?" "I want you to stand exactly where you are and make dinner finish behaving," I said. "Then we're going to the hotel. I want the room to talk." He blinked a long yes. The hotel pretended it was humble about its success, citrus in the air, the murmured dignity of thick carpet, lighting that aims to flatter sins without being implicated. The clerk knew Leo. Industry discounts make the world smaller and crueler. "Welcome back," she said, institutional mercy doing its best. She coded a key without ceremony. The elevator mirrored us back like a couple rehearsing being accurate in public. Room 911 opened with that expensive click that thinks it's earned privacy. 2 robes on hooks, twin glasses by the sink. The bed made with a crease that wouldn't know our names. The shower was still beaded from someone else's heat. Housekeeping doing its best, steam more loyal to the past than to tips. Leo didn't touch me. That was the new thing, and it almost forgave the rest. He stood near the window and watched the city try to be a reason. "You kissed him," I said, "because some sentences lay the table and others serve the meal." "Twice," he said, refusing to rehearse. "Once because I wanted to be chosen without auditioning. Once because I wanted to hurt us hard enough to move. Both times I thought of you. Both times I kept going." I put my palm where it belongs, between his shoulder blades, pressed into the square that convinces lungs to mind their job and memories to get in line. We kept it clean enough for the glass and explicit enough that the window remembered what rooms are for when cameras are imaginary. My mouth found the place under his jaw where my name keeps a rent-controlled unit. "I don't want to audition for your forgiveness," he said into my collar, voice unhandsome with clarity. "I want to be chosen and then worth it." "Then stop letting software schedule intimacy," I said, "and turn off anything that tries to help." He laughed once, honest and ugly, and the room believed us a little more. I opened the minibar, poured water into the heavy glasses like a ritual pays for itself, and set one in his hand. "Inventory," I said. "We invented it after an older ruin. 3 facts, 2 fears, 1 want. No prosecution. Water in the good glasses after because small noises prevent large ones." His 3 facts. He'd texted Adrian not to come to the tasting next week. He'd removed the shared album from AutoAd. He'd blocked Thursday night on his calendar with a recurring event called Make Heat at Home. His fears. That distance feels like oxygen until it turns out to be a vacuum. That I know how to be calm better than how to be cruel and would choose dignity over us. His want was my name with the grammar of a profession. Be mine in ways I can clock in for. We left the room without touching anything the hotel thought it could sell back to us later. In the hallway, the carpet hushed our decision. Outside, night had opinions. We walked the 18 blocks home because walking is the only prayer that doesn't ask for a receipt. Back in our kitchen, I did the thing that has saved us more than once. I taped a square of blue painter's tape to the window and wrote 807 above it with the pencil that lives by the calendar. "Every night," I said, 4 minutes of breath with your palm where breath listens. Then inventory. Then water. Then whatever we deserve." He nodded and covered my thumb with his, condescension-free. We were faithful to the square for a week that felt like a Polaroid trying to develop. At 8:07 he set his palm to the back of the heart, and we breathed like obedient animals until my body forgave my mind for using it as a courtroom. At 8:12 our lists rarely surprised but often helped. At 8:20 the glasses clicked their small hymn, and the window forgave us by being glass. It wasn't erotic unless you count survival as foreplay. I do. It wasn't tidy. Twice he was late and the old monologue in my throat powdered its nose and demanded a microphone. I made it sit by the sink and listened to the refrigerator sermon on patience. Once, at noon under the cruel honesty of summer light, I saw Adrian outside a coffee shop, sleeves rolled to the illegal degree, laughing with a woman whose earrings looked like punctuation. He lifted 2 fingers, weather, not invitation. I nodded in the economy of men, who intend to retire loved rather than right. At 3:15 on a Wednesday, my phone buzzed a push alert: no app will admit coding. Listen to 11 seconds of water. I sent present/bus stop. He replied present/dish pit, which is kitchen for I'm up where the weight is, making sure nothing falls on you while you walk under it. We fought the way adults with neighbors fight. I asked why attention still dresses as oxygen in his chest. He asked why I polish dignity until it slips. I said I'm tired of writing copy for us that reads like compliance. He said he forgot he could ask me for noise. Our sentences were small and heavy and refused to audition for theater. He said Adrian's name without flinching. He said mine like an address he'd left money under the mat for. The frame on the counter behaved for days: dogs, sunsets, my mother cutting cake like a surgeon. Then late on Sunday it betrayed us with an algorithmic memory. 1 year ago today, it chirped, and there was Leo at a different rooftop, hair damp, the city kneeling behind him. A man's forearm entered frame from the left tan line where a watch would be if he were respectable. It may have been nothing. It may have been rehearsal. I'll turn it off, Leo said, crossing the kitchen, reaching for the cable like Mercy could be unplugged. I stopped him by the wrist. Not hard. Enough. No, I said. We tell it what to show. We opened the album and started curating like our lives depended on it, because they did. We removed the hotel picture and its cousin. We added unflattering photos of us building a bookshelf wrong and then right. We added the video of me dropping a carton of eggs and him catching two with reflexes that made me reconsider vows as sport. We added stills of our hallway light trying to be helpful. We left the frame on. Voices matter less when the slideshow is honest. Adrian texted once more, a sentence with a period doing admirable work. I'm out of your story. Be inconvenient for each other. I replied, thank you for not being sentimental. He sent back a thumbs up like a mercy that didn't need to be poetic. Our therapist, chair not couch, prefers posture to collapse, asked if we plan to set rules. Rules are for prep cooks and airlines, I said. We need rituals. Leo didn't look at me because agreement makes him shy. We made customs at the border of home. When one of us opens the door, he says, I'm in, aloud. Present is sexier than sorry when it's honest. The hallway light has a sensor now. It wakes when we cross the air. If one of us must be late, he texts present place, and we pretend not to be poets about the grammar. The lock clicks like a paid witness. We tip it with patience. One evening he took me to a restaurant build he'd been shepherding, a space half-finished and entirely suggestive. Sheet plastic hung like shy ghosts. He tuned the pendant fixtures until the plywood decided to glow. Walk with me, he said, which in our marriage means I need to be seen doing the work I'm proud of without applause. We stepped through a forest of cables. He put my hand on a dimmer and told me to turn until a table felt like a secret that didn't require shame. Clean. Explicit enough to teach metal our names. The security camera bowed and decided to retire. There were relapses. A donor wanted a quick hello that lasted 90 minutes and tasted like compliment. A morning when I answered his inventory with a joke and had to apologize with my mouth instead of my copy. Each time the square was there, adhesive smudged, corner curling, still doing its job. Some nights we just breathed. Some nights we found the place under an ear that knows our first language and used it respectfully. The window forgave us without asking for a tip. People ask because people will, under misbehaving streetlights and in bathroom lines and over sinks that have heard worse. Who was the villain here? They want me to name a man with forgiving wrists, or an algorithm with forgiving defaults, or a husband who outsourced urgency to a slideshow. The truth humiliates everyone evenly, which is why it helps. The villain was the version of us that treated heat like an errand and romance like a feature. The miracle was repetitive and small. Knock on our own door, say where we are, place a palm where breath listens, count to 60, try again. The erotic part wasn't a robe surrendering to the idea of shoulders, or a flute of something cold with a sleeve that made statutes nervous. It was water in the good glasses clicking like an alphabet we finally decided to become literate in. It was my name in his mouth at the windows blue, spoken like rent paid on time. It was his hand at my back in public, quick. Nothing for cameras, everything for the animal in me who wants to be found rather than guessed. Last night the frame delivered a picture I didn't recognize. Our kitchen at 8:07, shot from the corner, the light off so the window on the scene. We were silhouettes, his palm at the back of the heart, my head bent like a man listening to an unglamorous god. The caption the algorithm offered was nonsense, but the date stamp was correct. Leo had taken it on a timer and added it to the album named here. Private, he said, a little sheepish. This one was meant for us. Keep it, I said. We're entitled to store evidence of what we learned. Tonight at 7:58, I'll set my phone face down like manners are still a technology worth installing. At 8:07, his palm will find the square behind my heart and the tape will remember why it was hired. If we miss, we'll try again. 8:17, 10, 10, 11, 11, whenever Mercy clocks in. Somewhere a smart frame is pushing a photo to a home that hasn't edited its album yet. Our door knows our knock. It keeps opening when we ask it to.